You're 14 years old, sitting outside your house in the late afternoon, helping your mother pick stones from the rice before supper. The air smells of smoke from cooking fires, with children running around the yard, and for a moment, everything feels ordinary. Then, soldiers arrive in the village. At first, you think they're only passing through, but you thought wrong. They speak quickly with the men of the village, their boots heavy on the ground, and their voices sharper than the wind. When they stop at your family's door, they tell your parents that you are needed to work for the army, maybe in the factory, or maybe as a helper. Your mother protests, your father lowers his eyes, and coins change hands you'll never see again. Before you can understand what's happening, rough hands push you toward the back of a waiting truck. Other girls are already there, their faces pale and silent, their small bundles of belongings clutched tightly in their hands. One whispers that she'll run as soon as she gets the chance. You almost believe her, but later, you'll learn how wrong she was. The road stretches endlessly into the night. Dust stings your eyes as the air grows colder, and the life you knew disappears behind you. By morning, you're no longer a daughter, and no longer a child. You are cargo, carried toward a place you don't know, with no way back. The truck finally stops after what feels like endless days on the road. Dust clings to your hair, your clothes stink of sweat, and your throat is dry from the ride. You expect a factory, maybe barracks with other workers, but what you see is nothing like what the soldiers promised. A high fence surrounds the compound, guarded by men with rifles. The smell of smoke, urine, and sweat hangs heavy in the air. Rows of small wooden rooms line the yard, and before anyone explains, you feel that this is no place for ordinary work. The soldiers push you forward, barking orders you barely understand. An older girl, maybe 20, leans close and whispers the truth. She calls this place a comfort station. You don't understand the word, but her bruised arms and broken voice tell you enough. She warns you to be silent, and you obey because there's nothing else you can do. That night, you learn what this place really means. Soldiers drink, shout, and then the doors begin to close one after the other. You're forced into a room. The door slams shut behind you. You cry, you struggle, but no one comes. The guards laugh outside the walls, and the girl who once swore she would run is gone before the week is over. By the time you approach your 15th birthday, you understand the truth. The walls are too high, the watchtowers too sharp, and every attempt to flee only brings harsher rules and deadly punishments. You'll learn that escape from here is not freedom, it's only another kind of trap. You're 17, and your body already feels decades older. The routine is the same every day, but your strength falters more quickly. Some mornings you wake up with your legs shaking, your skin clammy and pale, but there is no medicine, and there is no rest. The guards drag you up whether you can walk or not, because they don't care. As long as they get the pleasure and satisfaction they're looking for, they don't care. Among the girls, illness spreads like smoke. A cough in the night becomes a fever by dawn, and then another bed lies empty. You learn not to ask questions about where they go. Still, a few of you cling to each other. You share rags to wipe sweat, whisper songs from home, and remind one another of names you refuse to forget. There are small tricks to endure. You bite your tongue to stay awake. You practice smiling even when you feel nothing, because sometimes it keeps a soldier from lashing out. You find ways to hide bread crusts, trading them later for water. Each act of defiance, however small, is a reminder that you are not fully broken. At night, when the others finally collapse, you hum softly into the dark. The sound is faint, almost nothing, but it carries you back to the memory of your mother's voice. And for a moment, the walls cannot reach you. You're 18, and the war still rages. The soldiers are everywhere. The guards are sharper, but a small part of you still refuses to give in completely. You cling to the thought that one day you might leave this place, even if you do not know how. Some girls whisper about escape. They talk of slipping past the guards at night, of reaching a nearby village, of finding someone kind enough to hide them. You listen, you nod, but you also know the truth. You've seen what happens when someone is caught. Their cries echo down the halls, and for days after, no one dares to speak above a whisper. Yet, hope survives in smaller ways. A soldier once dropped a cigarette near your feet and didn't notice when you slipped it into your pocket. Later in the dark, you and the others break it apart, passing it around as though it were a feast. You laugh softly together, smoke bitter but freeing, if only for a moment. There are times you almost believe you will make it out, when the sun hits the walls just right, when the guard looks the other way, when you remember the road that once led home. You don't know if these hopes are foolish or necessary, but you hold them close because without them, there would be nothing left at all. You're 20, and the war feels endless. The faces of soldiers change. Some are replaced, others disappear, but the cruelty does not lessen. Supplies grow thinner as the fighting drags on. The food is stale, the water barely clean, and sickness moves through the rooms faster than whispers. The guards become harsher. With every setback on the battlefield, their anger turns on you and the others. There's no pause, no rest, only commands barked in a language you cannot refuse. Even the smallest mistakes are met with punishment, and the fear never leaves your chest. The women around you fade in different ways. Some grow thin and pale, their bodies too weak to keep going. Others lose themselves in silence, staring at the wall as though it might open a way out. You keep moving, even when your body aches, even when your mind begs you to stop, because stopping is not allowed. At night, you dream of home, of familiar roads and voices that cared for you. But when you wake, it's always the same walls, the same smell of sweat and smoke. The war outside rages on, but inside, it feels like it'll never end. You're 22 and everything suddenly shifts. The soldiers who once barked orders and moved with discipline now look nervous, restless, and even afraid. Rumors ripple through the station. Some whisper that Japan is losing. Others say surrender is near. None of you know the truth, but you feel it in the way the guards pace the halls and in how quickly the soldiers drink their rice wine. Then, almost overnight, they're gone. Boots that once struck the ground in rhythm vanish. Doors that were always locked stay open. The men who controlled your every step leave without goodbye, some fleeing in the night, others abandoning uniforms in the dirt. What's left behind is silence, a silence heavier than shouting ever was. You and the others step out cautiously, blinking at the daylight beyond the walls. There's no freedom waiting, only confusion. The war is over, they say, but no one tells you what happens next. Do you go home? Do you even have a home left? Some women wander away on their own. Others cling together, afraid of what might lie beyond the station gates. You survived, but survival does not feel like victory. The war is over, yet nothing feels safe. A few days go by and you finally decide to leave the station behind. The path home is long, and each step feels heavier than the last. You do not know who will be waiting for you, or if anyone even remembers. Some of the women who walk with you speak of families they hope to find again, while others stay silent, afraid of what the answers will be. When you reach your village, the welcome is not what you once imagined in your sleepless nights. Neighbors glance away or whisper as you pass, and even your family struggles to meet your eyes. The silence presses harder than the walls of the station ever did. You find work where you can, but suspicion follows you, and you soon understand that survival does not mean belonging. Many years later, with your hair turned gray and your children grown, you begin to hear the voices of other women breaking the silence. At first, you're afraid to add your own, but their courage stirs something in you. One day, you finally speak. Your hands tremble, but your voice holds steady. And for the first time, the truth is not just yours to carry. It becomes part of history, and history cannot erase you. You survived, and in speaking, you prove that survival itself carries strength.